Hello and welcome back. This is Flosstube number 2 for Untwist Your Stitches, and I'm Rose. I would like to welcome back all of those who have watched my first video, and thank you so much for doing that. All of my subscribers, I'm blown away by the amount of people that thought it would be a good idea to subscribe and maybe come back and see another video. In just 1 month, I have over 100 subscribers, and that just is amazing to me. So thank you all for doing that. And all of the likes and the comments were very, very nice. Thank you so much. I hope that I answered everybody with at least a heart or some sort of comment. So thank you all. And I appreciate it so, so much. It's very gratifying to know that there are people out there that think that my video is good enough to watch again. So thank you. I have my notes here, and we will get started. Hopefully this won't be as long of a video as the first one. So my story is... Sorry about that. My dog was barking at somebody outside, so I had to go quiet him down. Anyway, my story this video is going to be about my wedding anniversary. On October 8th, my husband and I celebrated our 40th anniversary. And apparently a lot of people find that amazing. And tell us how young we were when we got married, but apparently it was meant to be because we are still together and we are still very happy. So anyway, on our 25th wedding anniversary, I had been stitching for quite some time. The year before, on our 24th, we were talking to some friends that we had gone out to dinner with, and they said, well, you know, next year is a big milestone. So what do you think you're going to do? Are you going to have a party? Are you going to renew your vows? What plans do you have? And a party wasn't really in the offing because my family was at that time really all over the country. There were some on the East Coast. There were some up in Alaska, who my oldest sister still lives up there. But people were all over, and it wasn't really something that we could organize and get everybody together. So that wasn't it. And the renewal of the vows, as far as I'm concerned, my wedding the first time was enough. The license does not expire. So to renew my vows just wasn't something that I really wanted to do. So I was thinking about it, and I said, well, you know, one of the things that I really would love to do is go on an Alaska cruise. Leave from Vancouver, go up the seaboard, go into the inland passages, and have a nice 2 weeks of just on the ship and seeing all the sights and all that. And my husband turned to me and said, well, that sounds like a really good idea. Who are you going to take with you? And it made me laugh. It made them laugh. He finally realized what he had said. And he's like, oh, yeah, I probably would go with you, right? I'm like, well, apparently this is not something that you had in mind. So it turned out that we didn't take that cruise, but I did do something special for him, and it was a surprise to him. He had bought a 2007 Ford GT Mustang. He really wasn't a Ford guy. He was usually a Chevy guy, and he had been waiting and waiting and waiting for the new Camaros to come out. Well, they kept pushing the date back for when it was going to come out, and he had been saving his money up and really wanted a sports car. So he went to the dealership and he bought this Mustang, and I've got pictures of it. Let me find them. And so this here, let's see if I can do it without getting that, is his Mustang, 2007 GT Mustang. And he was so proud of it. He had had it for a couple of years, I believe at that time, maybe only 1 year. Anyway, I don't remember. But I decided I was going to stitch something to go on his seat. And I was looking through, and I came across the Fire and Ice pattern. Oh, I'm not going to remember what company it was that Kuston Crafts. I'll look it up and I will put it in my description. Anyway, I'm writing notes because the last time that I did a video, I told you that I would put some things in my description notes, and then I realized when I went back through that I hadn't done that. So I want to write myself some notes so that I make sure that I do what I tell you I'm going to. So anyway, I stitched this pattern, and then I took it to the local upholstery shop with the car, and I explained to the gentleman that ran the shop at that time what I wanted to do. And my idea was that I would make a seat cover for the driver's seat. Well, he looked at my piece and he said, "Oh my goodness, all that work that you've done, you don't want to put that on the driver's seat. Every time somebody gets in or gets out, they'll rub against it and it'll end up being, messed up." He said, "Why don't you do it on the rear seat? And you can put it in the center so that, every time somebody turns around, they'll see it." So that's what he did. He made this cover. Again, okay. The piece here is what I stitched. And then he made this leather cover, and it goes over the back of the rear seat. And there's a closer look at my stitching. But anyway, I did that for him, and it was all a big secret. My husband never realized what was going on. So for our anniversary, we were going out to dinner, and I said, "Well, let's take the Mustang," which was a surprise to him because I never wanted to ride in the car. It was not a car that I find comfortable. It was not something that I really wanted to buy at the time that we bought it. But regardless of that, I said, we'll take the Mustang and we'll go up to San Jose and we'll have a really nice dinner, thinking that when he got into the car, he would see the seat cover. So we get in. He even moved the seat, his driver's seat, and set his jacket on the back seat and never noticed that what was back there. So I kind of was looking at him, and he knew something was up, because I ended up as we got into the car and started driving, I started laughing at him, and he said, What are you laughing at? What's so funny?" And I said, nothing. And then when we got up to the restaurant, he said something to me, and I said, "Well, have you looked in the back seat?" So he turned around and he looked, and I don't know what he was looking at, but he didn't see it again. And I finally said, "Mike, do you not see what is back there?" And he looked again. He's like, "Oh my God." And he finally saw it. But it took like 3 times, and me actually telling him that he had to look. And those of you that know men, this is not a surprise to you. Men do not know how to look for things, but he did finally see it, and he was very impressed with it. So that was my 25th wedding gift to him, and it's still in the car today. And he does show it to everybody who sees the car for the first time. He makes a point of saying, you know, look in the back seat, look at what my wife did for me and whatnot. So it did become something that he found special, but it took him a while to figure it out. But men, what are you going to do? They are who they are. So the next thing that we have that I like to do is going to be my postal prizes. I don't have nearly as many this time as I had last time, but I do have a few. And all of them came from 1-2-3-Stitch. I had this Mill Hill kit. It had been out of stock for a while, so I had hit the notification that when it was back in stock to please send me an email, and they did. So I got this. I think he's so cute, and with it being fall and everything, it's going to be a real fun project to do. So that is, the name of it is Midnight Owl, and it is a buttons and bead kit from 1-2-3. Another one that I got, it's kind of a long story, and I don't want to get into it too much, but basically, we in this family are a little bit nutty, and my husband calls me the squirrel sometimes because I go off on tangents right in the middle of a conversation because something will pop into my head, and it's like, oh, I got to talk about that right now or I'll forget. So he calls me the squirrel. So I got this pattern. It is part of the collection of A Time for All Seasons by Cottage Garden. Last week I showed you the bat that I had got. And this is this is number 9 from that collection. And there were 12 of them in total. But I only have the bat and the squirrel, and I think he's really super cute. Another thing I got was some Weeks Works green overdye. Let me take it out of the plastic, or else you're not going to see it because of the glare from the light. Actually, from the window. This is something that I bought to use in my Sheep Virtues patterns. I wanted a green variegated for the grass. And so this is Weeks Works Ivy, number 2198. And I think the variegated of that will make the grass look, will come alive. So that's what these greens are for. And then I was looking in the, you know, you do this. You start looking on 1-2-3-Stitch, and you just get sucked in, and you start saying, oh, wow, I'd really like that, or I'd really like this. So I also got maple syrup, and I'm thinking that maybe I will use this for the squirrel. I also got Queen Bee because it just caught my eye. And I got Ladybug because I love ladybugs, and I thought this was a very nice variegated thread. Not too much, but enough where it will be fun to work with. So those are all of my purchases this this month. And I'm still waiting on my Stitch Me hand-dyed linens and Ada cloth. They still haven't sent me the notification that it's shipped yet, but it does on the site say that it could take up to 12 weeks for them to, because they don't ship as they as they dye it, they don't ship individually. They wait until your complete order is done, and then they will ship it to you. So obviously there's one or two of the colors that have not been dyed yet. So I've got to be patient and wait. And it's not like I don't have anything else to do and that I absolutely have to have those. It's just, I'd like to have them. So now we are going to get into my WIPGO projects. When I videoed last time, I had finished the first of my September WIPGOs, and I was going to pull out my second one. I did complete my goal for the second September project. It is this one. It is my Christmas cottage. It's by, the design is Donna Gelsinger, and it was charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Let's see. Please go back. When I first started in September, please come back. When I first started in September, this was where I was at. I was working in this section right here. And I went a little farther than my goal said to, because I have a page finish. And it was only like maybe 400 or 500 stitches to complete that page. So I just went ahead and kept going with it because I did have extra time, and I was able to make that page finish, which here is, but this right here, these two posts in the fence is what finished that page. So the next time this one gets called, I'll be able to start a new page and go from there, which is very exciting. I'm getting super happy about as far as I've gotten with that, and I'm trying to get it finished because I went back and looked, and I started this in 2013. Now there was a full year where I never touched it because there was a lot of other things going on. So I've been working on it for 9 years. I would really like to get it finished. I did have to change project bags because one of my other whips, well, actually it's going to be a new start that I'll show you this time. But that bag is the only one that new start would fit into. So I changed out bags. So my my snowman is now in this bag that I made. This was a free pattern on the internet from, again, I'm going to have to go back and look. It was, I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember. I should have looked that up before this, but it says create every day. Every day is hard to see, it looks like, on the video, but in real life you can see it pretty well. And then I made this, if you didn't know, my favorite color is green and my second favorite color is yellow, so that is why I chose these colors and the fabric to go with it. And so yeah, that is my September Whip Go goals met. So for then October, the numbers that were called were 14 and 19. As I told you before, for the 1st through the 15th, I work on the lower number. So that would have been number 14. And I completed that goal. So I had extra time, and I'll tell you what I did with my extra time. But the pattern that I am working on is from the Cross-Eyed Cricket, and it is Autumn. And this is going to be something that I give to my daughter. A couple of years ago, she and I were at a cross-stitch shop. I don't remember why, because she doesn't usually go with me when I go into my craft stores, because she says I take forever. But anyway, it is being stitched on 32 count gingerbread Lugana. And let me see if I have this picture. So this was, oh, come on. This was where I started. This is what it looked like on October 1st. And this is what it looks like now. My goal was to do 1,000 stitches, and that's what I did. And I started this one in the center because I wanted to make sure that I had enough fabric on each side. I knew it was going to be long enough, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough for each side, because I think I'm going to make it into a pillow for her, but I'm not 1,000% sure that that's what it will eventually be. So I needed to make sure there was enough fabric on each end so that if I didn't make it into a pillow, I would have enough for it to be nicely framed. And so that's why I did a center start. And I usually do like to start in the center. It just makes me feel like I really know where I'm at, and that I'm going to have enough fabric and everything's going to be where it needs to be. So that was October 1st, yes, that was my October 1st start for Whip Go. I completed my goals. My October 16th Whip Go is something that I am doing for myself. It is a Raise the Roof pattern. I believe it is out of stock. I don't think you can get it. And I don't have, oh, there it is. It's very small picture, but that's what it is. It's called Crabby All Year. Hopefully you can see it. And like I said, this is going to be one that is for myself. I don't always stitch for myself, and my husband makes fun of me because he's like, oh, well, who's that for? And when I say it's for myself, he laughs and he says, yeah, that's what you said before, and you never really follow through with that. You always give your stuff away. Well, he's right. I usually do. But this one, I really want to keep for myself. And at this moment, this is where I am at. I've got January, February, March, and April done. So I will be working on May and seeing how far I get. I actually would like to completely finish it, but I'm not sure if that's going to be an option. But we'll see. It's not a lot of stitching, but you got to really kind of be careful because there are borders that need to line up and that kind of thing. And then I have bought the button collection that goes with this because there are several buttons on each square from, oh, what is that button company? Everybody knows it. Why can't I think of it? Anyway, again, another thing to put in the descriptions. So, another note for myself. But that will be my October 16th stitching, and it will go either until the end of the month or until I finish the project. And this is a project bag that I made with just fabric that I have in my collection. I have a lot of fabric. I love fabric. So this is one that I made for myself, and the zipper fob is a little bobbin. So those are all of my whip goes. I've done very well this month in completing goals and getting things, new starts. So I'm very happy with my stitching this month. I have another, now we're going to go into FOs. This is not a full finish because it's not able to be fully finished. I created this pattern, and the reason I created it is in March or April of every year. It depends on when the retreat center has space for us. We do a local retreat, and my idea this year, I usually help out with different projects for the retreat. And my idea this year was to have everybody stitch this much of the project. And then at the retreat, everybody can go ahead and pass theirs around, and you can either stitch your name or just your initials, or if you don't want to participate, that's fine too. But then you would have the names of everybody that was there that year. I also think that I'm going to add 2024 down here. I'm still debating on that. The person that is actually in charge of the retreat, I asked her what she thought. She's busy with family matters right now, so she hasn't got back to me. But she's thinking about it, and if she thinks it's a good idea, then I'll add the 2024. And then that way, everybody can have the names of the participants. There's, I believe, our top number for the facility that we go to is 32 people. So you would have the names or initials of all the people that were there that year if they wanted to participate. And then you could make it into a project bag, or you could make it into a retreat mat, or there's lots of things that you could make it into. But it'd be a fun thing that would, commemorate the fact that you were at that retreat that year. The next thing I have, okay, so this is a fully finished piece. These mesh bags, the plaid mesh bags, you can get them at 1-2-3 Stitch. My local stitching shop has them in stock most of the time. And then I believe it's Shepherd's Bush has done a bunch of patterns that you can stitch onto the bags. And their suggestion is to use pearl cotton floss. Well, I don't want to go out and just for 2 projects buy a bunch of pearl cotton. It's not something that I would use regularly. So what I have been doing is I have just been using DMC floss and not separating it, using all 6 strands at the same time. And I completed, the pattern is called Queen Bee. Now I have made some changes to mine. This green is different than the called for number. This green is different, and one of the yellows is brighter than what they suggested. But I think it came out very well. And also the buttons that I added, they're not the ones that were suggested on the pattern, but they were ones that I had in my stash. So I just used those, and I think it looks just as cute as the original pattern does. So this is the original pattern. I don't know if you can really see the color differences. And it is a shepherd's bush pattern. So that was a 2-day project, start to finish. And that was also, the bag was also part of my 1-2-3 Stitch postal prizes. That was something that I just got in the mail and wanted to get it put together. And it already has a project in it. It's one of my embroidery projects. So I'm using it already and it's ready to go. The next thing that I finished is not cross stitching. I love to crochet, and when we were on our trip to Idaho this last time, I needed something to work on in the car, so I threw together this yarn and took it with me, and when we got back I finished it up, and this is my finish for my Afghan. And that will be put in someplace, and when I need a quick gift for someone, that will be what I will pull out and work on. Or, excuse me, not work on. That's what I'll pull out and I'll give to someone as a gift. So now I have new starts. Because I had finished the baby Afghan that I showed you last time, and I finished the Afghan, I had 2 spots open in my stitching rotation, and I decided that I wanted to make a couple of new starts. The first one is something that you've probably seen from other floss tubers. It is called excuse me. So the next thing that I have is something that you've probably seen from other floss tubers. It is the sheep virtues, and I'm also going to do a couple of companion pieces to go with it. Country Cottage Needlework is the designer for the sheep virtues, and they also have this sheep in the meadow that others I've seen have added in with their sheep virtues. And I decided, yes, I wanted to do that. So this is the center piece for my sheep virtues. I am doing it on 16 count French lace. It is a piece of fabric that a friend, her mom had been an Ada stitcher, and she prefers even weave and linens. So she asked me if I wanted to have this fabric, and I said, oh, absolutely, I love it. So my sheep virtues are going to be a banner. I'm going to do them across on a long piece, and I've already got it all figured out in my head and kind of laid out so that I know where things are going to go. But I started in the middle, and this is how much I have done so far. And I don't know if you can really see it, but here, the grass, this section I stitched going horizontally, and this section in here I have stitched going diagonally to give it a little bit of a different feel, so that it, it looks in the pattern in this area like, here's the hill. Well, this section right here is where I did the diagonal to make it seem as if it had come down. Anyway, it makes sense to me. I'm not sure if it makes sense to others. Excuse me. So my next thing I want to show you is a new start. I had time after finishing my September goal to do a little bit of stitching on something else. And I had some space open because I had finished the baby afghan that I showed you last time. I'm sorry, the baby blanket that I showed you last time. And so I had time after finishing my September goal. I had a few days left, and because I had finished the page, I was happy with my progress, so I decided that I was going to have a new start. And I had 2 open spaces in my rotation because I had finished the baby afghan that I showed you, or not the baby afghan, I'm sorry, the baby blanket that I showed you last time, and the afghan that I just showed you now. So those 2 spaces were so I had some time after my September whip goal. I had a few days left, and because I had finished that page on my snowman, I decided to give myself a break and go ahead and let me start a new project. I had decided that I wanted to do the sheep virtues, and I also wanted to, with the sheep virtues, add in the companion piece that Cottage Needleworks has created. And this is the companion piece. It is called Sheep in the Meadow. And it is going to be the center. I'm going to make the sheep virtues on a long banner style piece of fabric. I believe it was Tiger Lily Designs that suggested doing this because she had seen it somewhere else. And I thought that'd be a great idea. So I got this fabric from a friend. It is 16 count French lace. It's something that was in her mom's stash, and she's not an Ada stitcher. She likes even weaves and linens, and a lot smaller count than that. So she asked me if I would care to take it? And I said, oh, I'd love it. I really enjoy stitching on Ada. So she gave it to me and started in the middle. This will be the first part of the banner. And I am stitching it with the suggested DMC floss. As I told you before, I have so much DMC available because of what I had bought from the going out of business sale, that I just, and I like DMC. DMC is a floss that I can count on. It does not run. When I wash my projects at the end, I know it's going to be safe to do so because the process that DMC has developed over many, many years of dyeing floss is well done, and it just doesn't run. I have never had a DMC floss run when I've washed my projects. So I like to use it, and I am happy with the colors. The only one that is not, excuse me, that is not going to be a DMC is the, I'm sorry, here we go, is the grass on the hills. And that is a, I believe it's a Weeks Dye Works. Where's my bag? Let's check. It is, it's not, the tag is buried and I can't see it right now. It's on it's on a bobbin, and inside my bobbin is where the name of the floss is. So I will try to pull that out and put it in the description for you. But that is going to be one of the flosses that I use that is not a DMC floss. But it's going to be wonderful. I really like it. And it makes the grass look like grass rather than just a plain color. So that is my first new start. Then my second new start, I don't know why the autumn worked up so fast for my 1,000 stitches for October, but it did. I finished that in less than 10 days. So once again, I decided that I wanted to have a new start. And my new start is one that I showed you last, hold on. So my next new start was one that I showed you last Flosstube. It's one that I just fell in love with it. It's just such a fun stitch. It is the October 31 from Cottage Garden, the A Time for All Seasons series, and this is number 10. And the called for floss is Raven and Tin Bucket. Well, let's see. When I went on 123 and ordered for this project, you cannot find Raven. For whatever reason, that color is not being dyed anymore, or maybe it's, I don't know. Anyway, it's very hard to find. So instead of using Raven, I chose Black Crow. Now, when you look at it here, it's kind of hard to tell on the video, but there is a variegation to it. Very, very subtle. When you're stitching it, you don't see the variegation. The other one that they suggested using was Tin Bucket. Now, Tin Bucket is available, and I did find Tin Bucket. And it's very, very subtle variegation. But when you stitch with it, you can see the variegation in it. It's just that Black Crow, right? That's what it says. Yes. The Black Crow is so dark that when you stitch with it, the variegation just doesn't seem to come through for you as well. But I still am very happy with how it has stitched up. And this is how far I have gotten on him to date. Now, can you see right here where the stem should be? That is supposed to be the same color. And it is 30, I believe it's 3053 is the color you're supposed to be using. I decided that I wanted my stem to be a different color. Yes, there you can see it. It's a little bit more green. And I'm just stitching that little tiny bit right in here with that color. And the color that I chose to make the stem is, whoops, let me see if I can open my bobbin box, is it's DMC, and it's number 3011. And it's a nice, dark, earthy green. And I think it just gives it a little bit more definition is the word I'm looking for. So that is my second new start. And that start will be going in its own bag. It's another one of the So Emma plaid bags. I did the quilt pattern. Again, I changed things to suit my color schemes. This is the original. It's done in blues and reds and greens. This is more my color families that I like. So this is what I did. And again, I used the buttons that I already had in my stash to accent it. And so that is what October 31 will be going in. That'll be the project bag for it, because I get to finish working on it tonight, but then tomorrow I need to go back to my Whip Go project, which will be crappy all year. Again, this is a shepherd's bush pattern, and it is you're supposed to use pearl cotton thread with it, but again, I just used my DMC, and instead of separating the threads, I just used 6 threads, and I think it did a wonderful job. I don't see anything wrong with that. And now I don't have a bunch of pearl cotton setting around that will just be laying there for no reason. And so artistic license, I took it. So those are my new starts. The October 31, I think I've been working on it for 6 or 7 days. And it's a real fun stitch, and it goes really fast. There's not a lot of color changes. There's just enough to give you, you know, the definition for it. There's no back stitching in it, and it's going to be a really fun one to complete. And I think I can do that before the end of the year. So now, what I have for you now is some previous finishes that I've done in past years. And the reason that I'm going to show you them is I do have them out and I'm using them for my Halloween decorations. So it's something that I can easily get to and let you see them. So give me just 1 second to get set, and I will be back and we'll go through some previous fully finishes. Okay, so I'm going to show you some previous finishes that I've had. I've readjusted everything. This is going to be the board that I'll put everything on, and I will give you... Okay, so I have readjusted and I am ready to show you my previous finishes. I will show you a picture of what the original is supposed to look like on my tablet as best I can. And then I'll show you my version of what I've done. So the first one is a Glendon Place. It's called Autumn All Around. This is the original, and this is my version of it. Hopefully you can see it good enough. I made it into... I guess this isn't really working very well. Okay, and this is my version of the Autumn All Around. I made it into a table topper. I added some leaf buttons. They're probably very hard to see, but maybe you can enlarge them and see it better. And at the time that I was finishing this, I could not find a pattern that I cared for, so I created my own octagon pattern, and this is the design that I came up with. This is the back of the table topper, and this is the front. So that's one. The next one is a older Mill Hill kit. I looked and looked online to try to find it, and I could not. I believe it's a Mill Hill kit. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's why I couldn't find it. But, so I don't know maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this was not a Mill Hill kit. I'll have to research a little more. But I made it into a cube with little feet on the bottom and some trim and one of my little ribbon buttons on the top. And that is the finish that I have for that. Now that I'm looking at it, the reason I probably couldn't find the Mill Hill kit is because it's not a Mill Hill pattern. The next one I'm going to show you, I have to cover the top of this. Well, let me show you the outside. The pattern is in the Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition from 2015. And the pattern is called Boo. And their finish was made into individual little cubes, like the pumpkin I just showed you. But my version is this. I found this frame at Hobby Lobby several years back. It's got these little clips that you can put your piece on, and each one of these is stitched on a different color of Aida. I believe the size count was 16. This is one of those projects that I finished before I started writing down all the information. So I do not have the count size or the color, and they were all just small pieces in my stash, but they were the right size for the pattern, so I just did that. And then there's these little buttons that I have. This was a Halloween decoration that I used just pieces of, and again, more buttons, a spider, an owl, and a bat, just to, you know, give it a little bit of added fun to it. So that is called Boo, and it is from the Just Cross Stitch Halloween Edition 2015. Now this one is, this was a Hirschner's kit. It came with the cloth, it came with the pattern, everything was part of the kit that you bought. It was called, I believe it was called Fall Harvest. Again, I looked and looked and could not find it online to give you the information about the kit, but it's old. It's probably at least 6 or 7 years past, and I'm not sure it's something that would still be available to buy. But it was a fun one. The fabric that they gave you is 14 count Aida. And the design is on each end of the table runner. And it's the exact same design on both ends. So that is my Hirschner's table runner. Oops. Now, the next one I'm going to show you is from, let's see here. It is called Spider Banner, and it is an Alessandra Adelaide design. This is what it looked like from her, with the orange or red or whatever color that is. And again, I took poetic license with it. And mine is all in green, because the majority of my Halloween decorations is all in green. I'm going to move this out of the way. It's not, that's just not working. So I'm just going to hold it up. I'll edit my, but this is the, there's the top. I added a couple of spiders to it, and I changed the body of the spider and this little design down here, whatever it's supposed to be. And this is all in Krynic. All of the green is in Krynic blending filament. So my next So my next thing to show you is I have done 4 of Nora Corbett's Bewitching Pixies patterns. The first one I did was, it's called Anna. I did a color conversion on her. I added this pumpkin button, and I added the moon for decoration. And I'm not a big fan of beads, so a lot of where she had beads in the pattern, I used Krynic metallic. And that's Anna. And then this one, I believe her name is Luna. Let me double check. Again, I changed some colors in her. I changed out some of the beading and used Krynic blending filament. Yeah, the first one was Anna, the second one is Luna. I added this little bat at the top. There are a couple of beads in here. There's bigger beads there, and then her necklace. There's a star, and there is a amethyst. And I believe the color changes are here in her wings and on her cape. Again, I can't give you exactly what I did because these have been done long enough ago that I don't have that information written down. And then I painted this. It was a wooden piece from Hobby Lobby. These came from Hobby Lobby, and I added the sparkle to make it look like a bubbling cauldron. It's old enough that my cauldron fire is starting to look a little sad, so I'm probably next year I will change those out and update them. The other 2 Bewitching Pixies from Nora Corbett are Xenia and Minerva. So, this is the neon green DMC. I made the color changes in her dress. And that is my version of her. And then this one, again, changed the color of her dress. The moon is a different color than what is suggested. But this is my version. And these hang, I bring them out every Halloween and sometimes even into November. It all depends. And again, I just painted this. This is just a dowel, a wooden dowel. I found some decorative pumpkins, and the Bewitched sign as another thing that I colored, and it was bought at Hobby Lobby several years ago. But those are my versions of the Nora Corbett Bewitching Pixies. So this is what it should look like. This is her. It's more of a teal color. The tree is darker. I turned that into more of a fall colored tree. Oops, sorry. This is, oops. She was all in red. I turned her green. Yeah, I'm not sure if I changed any of the colors on Luna or not. She may be completely done as suggested. And I know I darkened some of her colors, or I lightened some of her colors up, because this here, this real dark, that's all done in black. And I didn't want to do it in black. I wanted to do it in a green. So I used I believe what I changed it to, if memory serves me right, is I changed it to 699 DMC green. But those are the original, and then you saw my version. So those are the original patterns that I found, and I couldn't show you the actual patterns that I bought because I have already passed them along to a friend who she was collecting all the Nora Corbett patterns. So I passed them along to her, but I did find them online to show you. And I'm sorry I don't have the color conversions because it was just done long enough ago that I didn't keep track at that time. I'm doing better now and keeping track of all of my changes. So that is my Flosstube for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Come back. I'll be here in about a month, hopefully, and show you some new finishes, some new whips, and whatever else I have to show you. Thank you for joining me and have a wonderful day. Bye.